guys, Dom here and welcome back to my channel. Today we are finally finishing up my weird rose. It's been done for maybe like a couple of weeks now, but I found some process things and some art supplies that I got in the process. I don't know, but you can see how I applied the gold leaf and all that jazz. So if you like this type of video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. If you want to, give me some ideas on what to paint. I have another one coming up, but it's going to be really big, so hopefully I can do it. But yeah, anyway, thanks for watching. Hi guys, Dom here and welcome back to wherever I am posting this. So I'm going to talk you guys to death about this rose yet again. So here is the rose. Sorry, I'm doing it at the weird angle. There's the rose. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to outline where I want the gold drips to be for this picture. So what I'm going to do is take a picture of it and I'm going to upload it into my Photoshop. You can use the desktop Photoshop or you can use your iPad Photoshop. So I'm going to take a picture and do that instead of taking tracing paper and going over it. I recently got this tracing paper. It's supposed to be really good. It feels a little heavier than normal, heavier than the Strathmore tracing paper, so it's probably better quality. But as you can see, that's one thing I hate about tracing paper is that it comes out too easily. As you can see, it's like kind of the rose size, but it's also not. So I feel like digitally it's going to be easier to just snap a picture and then upload it and see what you want to do about it. Since this isn't a digital picture, I'm going to use some digital concepts to finish off the picture. So once I figure out where the drips are going to go, I am going to obviously freestyle it onto this picture, but since I'll have a reference picture digitally, then I can do it in person. The gold leaf that I got is by Barnabas Black Gold and it's very tiny. I think this was like 10 to 20, maybe even 30 bucks. But I remember doing a piece a while back. So that's what the gold leaf looks like, if you can see that. You also need a, oh, I fell on the thing. Oh no, go back on there. Get back on the thing. Oh no, what in my fingernail? No, well that's gone. It's very crumbly, so you have to be careful, clearly. You have to use this type of paint, or I don't know any other good brand of paints besides this one, and maybe like a stippler brush, so they look like this. I had a bigger, fatter one that had more control, but I can't seem to find it. To me, they just look like you messed up your paintbrush, which I guess it's okay. And I have a smaller one to use. I'm just trying to be really careful where I put this gold because it's actual gold. So when I seal it off, it won't turn green like if you use imitation gold does. But it's tiny. It's tiny, tiny ass sheets of paper. So I'm very terrified about doing this, but also super excited. I also wanted to open up a few of the watercolor things that I have, and also what I have at home. So I have these art, I don't know what these call, water fillable paint brushes for watercolor specifically. I have so many art tools. I also still have a bunch of crank paint pens, and this freaking paint pen, I think it bled out a little, but the color is like so freaking pretty. I want to use that for Jimin's picture. The first picture I'm gonna do is the picture of him with those big old disco ball earrings on, just because I could put him in color. And I'm going to probably have black in the background. I might add pieces of gold. I really want to do this liquid acrylic paint, so it's gonna be a multimedia picture. So this, or even, where is it, this Winsor & Newton ink. When I was doing art snacks a while back, I got a bunch of ink. Like, they give you free ink, but this ink is so freaking pretty. It's like a deep emerald green, but to add these colors to the actual painting is gonna be so freaking pretty. I'm super excited about that. Get this open. So we're gonna do a multimedia thing. The only thing I think I'm not gonna use is colored pencil, because I don't know if y'all seen my YouTube videos on that. I'm not great with colored pencil. That's something I really wanna master, is getting realistic pictures from colored pencil. So I ordered this from Amazon last night, and I ended up getting an electric eraser, which is good for detail. This was only like $7. I got, and most of these are like $7 to $10. I did get the Strathmore mixed media, but I got the black watercolor paper. Like, that's so cool to do like high contrast paintings. And then I got palette paper. I've never heard of this, Mr. Pen palette paper, but apparently it's supposed to be really good. This paper is just the stuff you put your paint onto. So like, if you actually have like a clear glass palette, you don't like mess it up. Although with the glass one, you could just wash it off. But if you have like a wooden regular palette, you won't mess it up. You can just cover it. I have a drawing board that's about this size, so I'm just gonna stick that on there so I can use the palette paper. But yeah, this was only like $4 or $5. I don't know, it was super cheap, so hopefully it works really well. The one by Strathmore that they have was like $12 to $15, and I'm like, that's stupid, I'm just throwing it away. I wanted to try Canson water paper, so this is what I got, our watercolor paper. This is 11 by 14, and I hate that I have to, cold pressed. I forgot what you use hot pressed for, but I usually use cold press. This is the paper that I'm going to put the pictures on. I just didn't want it to be too big, because then I wouldn't be able to ship it. But yeah, the grit on it is decent. And I know to prep your watercolor paper, you need to soak it in water and then start it so it doesn't do that weird buckling effect. You can also tape it down with like masking tape if you want to, or drafting tape. It's the brown tan looking tape, that tape, so it doesn't leave any marks on your picture. But I don't know, we're gonna try this. This is a higher range that they have, and hopefully it works out great. Let me pull up the picture just to refresh you guys' memory. And I'm probably gonna add the picture if I can. Let's see. Search, no, favorites. It's in favorites. So this is the picture that I'm doing, the first one of Jimin that I'm doing. Just because this one seems so whimsical. I'm probably gonna add more colors to his hair, even though these are like blues and purples and pinks. That'd be cool too. I don't know if I want to do like the cool anime bubble background, or if I want to just add splashes of stuff. If I could find some silver leaf, I don't even know if they make that. If they make silver leaf, then I'll probably add this. If not, I'll probably add something to it like this crink pen. I'm just super excited. I'm gonna include a certificate of authenticity because I am gonna mail out the original. I'm just gonna take a bunch of pictures for my portfolio. I am gonna mail out the original as far as that's concerned. I'm probably gonna have an art tool video again because I still use some of these tools, but since I'm working on my portfolio, I can show you better examples. But I'm so glad I got this electric eraser. If you guys ever want to do like hyperrealism art, or you can't seem to get in there really good as far as like detail with erasing, you can use a putty eraser, and you just, you know, turn it over until the pencil marks are gone, and then you sharpen it to however you want to by molding it with your fingers and then use it. But if you still can't get it right, you can use these electric erasers. And I also still have extra Derwent battery eraser refills left over. I don't know what I did with this thing, but I think I broke it. I think I broke it into a million pieces. So invest in this. It's under $10. These art papers were under $10. You'll probably spend maybe 30 at the most to create. And this is like if you already have the paint. If you don't have the paint, it might be a little bit more pricey, but I'm using like a cheaper gouache. I'm using the Hemi, not gloss, the paint. I'm using the Hemi gouache watercolor. So it works like watercolor, but it also is like acrylic. So I don't know. If you see any supplies out, give them a try. I've been talking way too long. I've been talking for like 10 minutes about this. Okay, I have one more thing to add. If you're doing, okay, so like for this picture, when I take a picture of it, just try to make sure it is even at a 90, I guess straight up and down at a 90-degree angle with your picture. And you can also scoot it back some. So I'm gonna have some of this background stuff, but when you're working in Photoshop, you do not want to scooch in like this and then have to, what you call it? You don't want to have to change the sizing from big like this to small like this, because it's going to be very hard to do. It's easier to have all this excess, which is like excess space, and then when you're doing Photoshop you can zoom in that way, because Photoshop works in pixels, whereas if you're doing it through Illustrator it works in vectors. So vectors are more like drawing with numbers. Numbers are gonna be a little bit more accurate and it's gonna be a little bit more smoother, whereas in Photoshop you're working with pixels. It's like little dots of color, almost like how impressionist artists draw. Like you see it close up and it's little baby dots of color and they don't look like anything, and then when you scoot back it looks like a picture. That way you don't lose any of the information from your picture, because if you just tried to get a picture like this and then you tried to zoom out, it's going to look like crap. But if you take it full on, even with the extra, you can crop that out and zoom in and still have your picture's impression and its imprint. You always have to go big. In this case, it's like the extra outer form, and then shrink it down and zoom in to get the actual picture. I hope that helps. I hope I explained that right, but you don't want to lose any of your information. Sometimes it's hard to crop it like zoomed in and then try to zoom it out. You're gonna lose some information, and Photoshop's gonna try to fill it in for you, but it's not gonna. It does a good job at doing that now, but it's kind of still hard to do. So when you're taking pictures of like photos and all of that, just make sure you get like the full picture and try to get it as evenly as possible, because see, when I turn it, it makes the rows look a little different. It's so funny because it actually looks kind of 3D, like this part sticks out more. So I'm probably gonna play on that when I add the gold. Okay, I'm talking way too much now. Okay, I'll see you guys later. Okay, bye. Bye. Testing. Okay. All right. Sorry guys if you hear a fan a little bit, but it's late and I'm doing stuff. So what I did was I ended up putting this in my Photoshop on my iPad, and I'm just looking up reference pictures. Well, not reference, the actual picture. I took a picture of it, flipped it to the right way, and started to add my little drippity drops for where I want it to go. Now before I did this, I did not realize how hard it was to actually get the flow of the gold onto the page, so that was a little difficult, but I put it in a basic Photoshop setting with a 300 DPI, which is like a basic setting. If you want to see your pixels correctly, it's a basic setting. I think I took an animator pencil. I can't remember. I really like drawing with the animator pencil in there. It's really, really cool. It works more like a comic book pencil. But anyway, found some reference pictures of roses, and tried to put the drips as naturally as possible. Now, when I do the actual rose, you're gonna see it, and I think it's okay, but the way that it laid on there, my references, wow. The way that it laid on there, I'm not sure if I really liked all of them, but I tried. I wanted to do like a waterfall background, but the way that the glue sits and the way that like the gold sits on the paper, and I didn't want to brush away the watercolor, even though I had already did a dry set of it, it was still able to like wipe off. I said, no, we're not messing up that background. But yeah, this is just me creating highlights where I think highlights should go. And of course I didn't use all of them, but you know, it is what it is. I like it though. I really do. It took me a while. I just wanted to add some color to it, and in person the gold is actually very, very gorgeous. So I'm happy with the outcome. This is just my sketching phase. Anytime before you add something super important to a picture like that, it's important to do some sort of sketch. I mean, it's cool if you wing it, but if you're not used to winging it and you want to sketch it out first, you can take a picture of your picture and add some, you know, sketches to it to see if you like it or not. A lot of people do this with like tracing paper and all of that. I think I mentioned that earlier, but if you want to do it quickly without messing up your page, you can do it in Photoshop and just erase it. You know what I mean? So that's a quick little tip. If you want to do reference pictures or like different color grades or color examples of a picture, you can use Photoshop. Okay, hi guys, back again with this freaking rose picture. It is getting on my nerves. So, okay, this gold leaf is very expensive and I'm scared that I might not be able to do it all with this gold leaf. I might have to order some more. But you wait, see, I got a little bit on there. I like the way that it doesn't look exactly like perfect, and then when you take it back, it looks pretty decent. So, you put the glue on there, you wait for it to dry. This glue dries so freaking clear. It pisses me off. Dries clear. So that's great. It dries clear because in the end you won't see it if you make a mistake, but then it dries clear so you can't really see it as you're like brushing it on. So I have to literally tilt this in the light, you know, because the electricity is still off. Tilt this in the light and brush. So we're gonna see. And I feel like it's such a waste because you have to brush it off like this. Ah, it's muddy. And some of it will stick where there's no glue. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this architect brush. It's like a duster brush that you use when you're drawing up plans for houses and stuff. I have that. I don't know where it is, but I have that. And you'll usually just dust a picture. So when I'm done, and once I clean this up a little bit, I'm going to dust across the actual picture with that. Or even just take a flat dry brush and dust this off because it does stick to other parts of your picture. I saw somebody complaining about that. And right now it's catching right here. So I'm probably going to collect that and put it in a container. I have on gloves because, and these are my hair gloves. It doesn't matter what kind of gloves as long as you have on gloves. For it not to get stuck to my hands because it's been getting stuck to my hands. This is a process, so I'm gonna clean this up a little bit. I do like some rugged parts, but like on the big chunky parts, I want that to be a little bit smoother. So I'm gonna use it. It's like when you start using it, it crumbles. It's harder than what I thought, but it's looking good so far. Okay, bye.